The transmission came in the middle of the Galactic Summit, thousands of delegates watching as a human colony's distress beacon screamed across every frequency. The feed was chaotic, children crying, soldiers shouting, civilians running as alien bombardment tore through the cities of Novus Terra. Then, static. Silence. The delegates turned to the human representative. Ambassador Kane's face was pale, his jaw locked tight. For 10 long seconds, he said nothing. Then, quietly, he stood. That, he said, was a war crime. The Vocari delegate scoffed, his serpentine voice hissing through the speakers. Collateral damage, Ambassador. Unfortunate, yes, but your colony was encroaching upon restricted territory. You should not have been there. Kane looked at him, and the quiet in the hall turned into something heavier than gravity. There were 2 million people there, he said. Farmers. Engineers. Families. You just vaporized a planet of civilians. The council murmured, uncomfortable. Someone tried to speak, but Kane raised his hand. For centuries, humanity has played by your rules. We joined your treaties. We respected your borders. We tried to be civilized. His voice grew colder with each word. But no more. Back on Earth, the footage spread like wildfire. News anchors couldn't finish their sentences before breaking down. The faces of the dead, children clutching stuffed toys turned to ash, flashed across every screen. The world didn't weep. It hardened within a day. The United Terran Command declared Protocol Iron Dawn. Civilian industries converted overnight to military production. The orbital docks of Mars, long dormant, lit up like stars being born. Old ships were recommissioned, new ones built in silence. Humanity's grief was forging itself into war. The Galactic Council sent envoys, pleading for restraint. You cannot fight the Vocari Empire, they warned. Their fleets outnumber you 100 to 1. Kane's response was broadcast live to every system, then we'll just have to kill 100 for every one of us. What came next stunned the galaxy. Human fleets vanished from known space, no transmissions, no pings, no trails. Then, one by one, Vocari outposts went dark. Mining stations were found orbiting dead suns, their crews gone. Entire garrisons disappeared without a trace. When the Vocari tried to retaliate, their fleets found themselves blind. Human cyber warfare systems hijacked their command networks, turning their own ships against them. A single message was left in their databanks: you started this. We'll end it. Weeks turned into months. Rumors spread that humans had unleashed something new, something terrifying. Black ships, they called them, ghost vessels with no life signs, armed with weapons that bent light and shredded matter. No one saw them approach. You only saw the aftermath. The Galactic Council tried to intervene again, calling for negotiations. Kane's reply was short: civilization is what we were before you burned our children. The war escalated beyond comprehension. The Vocari homeworld trembled under orbital siege. Their skies burned for a week straight. When the smoke cleared, only silence remained, no resistance, no surrender, just extinction-level quiet. Humanity did not cheer. There were no parades, no songs of victory. Kane stood before the council again, this time surrounded by armed guards. We didn't want this, he said softly. But you showed us what mercy costs in this galaxy. Now, we'll be the monsters you feared we could become. Every race that had once looked down on Earth took notice. Some trembled. Others began sending emissaries, not to threaten, but to apologize. They had seen the cost of crossing humanity's line. A monument was raised on Novus Terra's ashes, a towering figure of steel and glass inscribed with 4 words: never again. Never first. The galaxy would remember that day, not just as the moment humans went to war, but the day civilization learned what it meant to make humanity bleed. From that day forward, no species questioned humanity's restraint. Because everyone knew what would happen when they stopped being civilized. The ashes of the Vokari homeworld drifted like dark snow through space, a silent reminder of humanity's wrath. But Earth did not rest. While the galaxy reeled in shock, Terran fleets expanded their reach, establishing fortified perimeters around every human world. No one would ever touch them again. The Terran assembly met in absolute silence when the last report of the Vokari genocide came in. No one cheered, no one smiled. Chancellor Adebayo simply said, "It's done. But we will never be the same." The words hung heavy, echoing through the chambers like a eulogy across the colonies. Humans tried to rebuild. Factories once dedicated to war now turned to reconstruction. But beneath the surface, something darker had taken root, a collective understanding that peace was not a natural state, but a fragile illusion maintained by the fear humanity now inspired. Ambassador Kane became a legend, a ghost among diplomats. He refused interviews, declined honors, and spent his remaining years visiting memorials of the fallen. The galaxy saw him as a warlord in a suit, but humanity remembered him as the man who refused to let them die quietly, and yet, not all were content. From the ashes of the Vokari, whispers began. Survivors, orphans, exiles, remnants of their fleets, vowed revenge. They called humanity a blight, a barbaric plague cloaked in righteousness. They would have their vengeance, even if it took 1,000 years. Human intelligence agencies intercepted fragments of their plans. Kane's successor, Ambassador Rillan, issued a statement to the Council, "Let them come. We'll bury them next to their ancestors." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council itself fractured. Some species withdrew entirely, terrified of provoking humanity again. Others sought alliances, desperate to appease the new superpower rising from Earth's shadow. Old enemies found common cause in simple survival. The Council tried to reform, to bring order to chaos, but every proposal passed through a single filter: what will the humans think? Their fear became policy. Humanity didn't demand control, it simply was controlled. On the outer rim, explorers stumbled upon remnants of Vokari weapon caches, still active, still lethal. Humanity confiscated them, reverse engineering their technology. What they learned terrified even their own scientists. Energy weapons that could slice moons in half, biological plagues encoded in light. Humanity built counters for all of them. The Terran fleets evolved beyond recognition, ships that could fold space, vessels powered by captured suns. The galaxy had created a monster, and it was still learning how to roar. Some younger races began to idolize humans. To them, humanity's fury was not barbarism, it was justice. They asked for protection, for guidance. And in a strange twist of fate, Earth became both the galaxy's sword and its shield. When raiders attacked a small colony of the Lyran people, it was humans who arrived first. No negotiations, no drawn-out politics, just swift retribution. The raiders vanished within hours. The Lyran called it the Day of Iron Mercy. But among the stars, an unease grew. Could a species capable of such vengeance ever truly be peaceful again? The question haunted every council, every diplomat, every commander. Even humans began to wonder, had they lost something vital when they chose vengeance over forgiveness? On the anniversary of Novus Terra's fall, billions across the galaxy observed a minute of silence. For the dead, for the lost, and perhaps for the fragments of humanity's soul that were sacrificed in the fire. A new doctrine arose within the Terran military, the doctrine of balance. It stated, "We will never start wars, but we will end them. We will not be civilized when civilization fails." It became the creed of every human soldier. Centuries later, a new generation of human children would grow up not knowing fear of alien empires. They would learn history through holovids showing Earth's darkest hour, and the moment humanity decided enough was enough. Historians from alien worlds debated endlessly whether the massacre on Novus Terra was the worst crime in galactic history, or the most consequential mistake. Without it, humanity might never have risen. With it, the galaxy would never again sleep soundly. A statue now stands in the center of the Galactic Council chamber, a human hand, open, not clenched in a fist, but offered in peace. Beneath it are the words engraved in ancient Terran script, "We try to be civilized." And those who walk past it, be they human or alien, pause. Because everyone knows what it means. Everyone remembers what happened when Earth stopped being civilized. Generations passed, but the scars of the Massacre war never truly faded. The void between the stars still whispered the echoes of human vengeance. In every shadowed corner of the galaxy, the story was retold of the day Earth's mercy burned away, and something far older and more primal took its place. The galaxy had known conquerors before. It had known tyrants, zealots, and monsters. But humanity was something different, an intelligent storm. When it struck, it didn't destroy for pleasure. It destroyed with purpose. And that purpose had left an indelible mark on every civilization that survived to remember. On the Centauri frontier, archaeologists uncovered a forgotten Vocari data archive. It contained messages from the last days of their empire, pleas for surrender, ignored by their own leadership. When the humans came, they begged for mercy that never arrived. The files were broadcast publicly, and for the first time, the galaxy pitied the Vocari, but Earth's response was simple and cold: we offered mercy first. They chose ashes. It became the defining phrase of human diplomacy, a grim reminder that peace was not the absence of violence, but the restraint to withhold it. In time, humanity's fleets turned from war to watchfulness. They patrolled trade routes, mediated disputes, and extinguished pirate bands before they could threaten civilians. But their peacekeeping came with a warning: do not test us again. The galaxy listened. The Terran Navy adopted a new insignia, a white flame enclosed by a black circle. It symbolized humanity's dual nature, light within the void, but capable of consuming everything if unleashed. Some called it arrogance. Others called it prophecy. Meanwhile, the children of the new age grew restless. They had not seen the massacre. They had not felt the fury that shaped their ancestors. To them, the stories felt distant, myths of a time when humans were gods of war. They questioned whether Earth's power was justified, whether the galaxy should continue to live under the shadow of fear. A movement arose, the Reclaimers of Humanity. They sought to restore compassion to the center of Terran identity. We are more than our rage, they preached. We must remember what it means to be civilized again. But their idealism met the cold edge of reality. Pirates raided a border colony, slaughtering thousands. The Reclaimers begged for restraint. The military ignored them. Within a week, the raiders were annihilated, their homeworld reduced to dust, and so the debate raged across Earth's networks: had humanity saved the galaxy, or enslaved it through fear? Some argued that peace enforced by terror was no peace at all. Others replied that fear was the only language the stars understood. Ambassador Rullan, now old and weary, addressed the assembly one final time. "We are not gods," he said. "We are survivors. Civilization is a choice we must keep making every day. The moment we stop choosing it, we become the monsters they feared." His words became scripture among diplomats, though many in the military dismissed them as weakness. Still, humanity held the line, not because it was easy, but because the alternative was unthinkable. Then came the signal. A faint transmission from deep space, older than any known civilization. It spoke in riddles, in broken languages, warning of something vast stirring beyond the galactic rim. The council panicked. Worlds whispered of ancient machines, sleeping empires, an extinction, and for the first time since the massacre, the galaxy turned to humanity not with fear, but with hope. "You fought the impossible before," they said. "You survived when others would have fallen. Lead us again." The Terran High Command convened. For a moment, they hesitated. After centuries of being seen as monsters, could humanity become saviors once more? Kane's doctrine echoed across the chamber: never again. Never first. This time, humanity would act, not out of vengeance, but responsibility. Their fleets prepared, not for conquest, but for defense of all life. The same fury that once burned worlds would now shield them. When the first enemy signal breached the outer systems, humanity did not roar. They moved in silence, cold, efficient, unstoppable. The galaxy watched in awe as Terran fleet stood between civilization and annihilation, fighting not for themselves, but for everyone. In that moment, the galaxy understood humanity's wrath and humanity's mercy were not opposites, they were one and the same. The fire that had once destroyed could now protect. The monster had become the guardian, and when the darkness was finally beaten back, Earth stood among the stars once more, not feared, but revered. Because they had proven a final truth: being civilized isn't about what you refuse to fight for, it's about knowing when you must.